I'll tell you what, every week that's the most awkward pause ever. Hello everybody, welcome along to another edition of the United View. Thank you for taking time out this evening and watching. Remember, you can be involved with the show. We'll introduce you to our panellists and any of their points if you want to make yourselves heard. This is the United View. We want to hear your views. Tweet us at the United View or subscribe and comment in the comment box. It's either side, I don't know which way yet. So, on the show tonight, we're joined by one of our regular panellists, Shaun. Thank you for coming on. Not just fresh from Tottenham, fresh from Old Trafford as well, from Newcastle. How was it?
It was absolutely brilliant, Ben. Top day out. Can't thank Chevrolet enough for giving me the opportunity of going.
Yeah, and by the way, Chevrolet, if you want to be nice to me, I wouldn't mind going next year at some point. That'd be nice. I'll be wined and dined, and I'll meet the ex-legends as well. Andy Cole and Irwin, wasn't it, Shaun?
Yeah, Andy Cole, Dennis Irwin, Paddy Crayon, and Andy Ritchie came in the box. Got signed photos with them all. Pictures of me with them as well. Yeah, absolutely fantastic day out.
Not jealous at all. Tonight we're also welcoming back to the panel two of our other regular guests. Liam, thank you for coming back on, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Last show of 2014, so let's make it a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be very busy as well. And of course, we can finally start talking about the January transfer window. Yeah, that's going to be great. Also, back on the show tonight, Pasha, all the way from America. Thank you for coming on, mate.
Yeah, thank you for always having me on. Pleasure to be on.
We love your points. It's great to have you back with us. And today I think we're going to be loving your points even more. As I don't really know what to say, Shaun. Is that 2 points dropped today?
Yeah, I think so. We had plenty of chances in the first half. Spurs definitely had a game plan for the second half. They gave us the space in the first half. We obviously used the more energy in the first half, which meant Spurs obviously had more in reserve for the second half, and they definitely closed us down more in the second half. Rushed De Gea into clearances at the back, straight back to them, and they were just on us all the time. They definitely had a game plan. Pochettino certainly got one over Van Gaal there. I was a little bit surprised we made 3 defensive substitutes, and obviously we made them all with defenders as well. But I think the game was sort of crying out for Wilson, sort of a little bit of pace, just to push Spurs back a little bit, sort of 17 minutes, something like that. I think we missed a trick there, but Van Gaal seems to know what he's doing. He wasn't very happy after the game. But,
We all weren't. We all weren't, were we? I mean, Pasha, we'll come over to you, mate. First half, so dominant. We seem to have Spurs there for the taking. We missed some great chances, which we'll come back to. But in terms of Tottenham and the way they played out the second half, they stopped Carrick from playing, they stopped Rooney from playing, they stopped Mata from playing, and they stopped our front two getting any service at all. Do you think this is more Spurs playing really well in the second half than us playing really badly?
You know, it was, when you look at the first half, it was our best away performance we've had. Not obviously the result, but the best away performance we had all season. And if you look at the domination that Carrick, Mata, and Rooney had, controlling the game, controlling the tempo, and the way we attack, and we didn't convert our chances. Right away, Pochettino in halftime had a plan to stop that attack line, you know, the midfield line, and that's what we saw. And once you look at the lineup, you know, when you see Stambouli and Ryan Mason, you're like, oh wow, you know, this is a pretty actually weak center midfield, especially when Bentaleb being out, and he's always been a class player for them. We didn't just convert, and in football, when you never convert your chances, you always end up losing or tying a match, and that's what exactly that happened. And just looking at the Spurs side, they were absolutely defeatable. This was actually one of the weakest side I've seen Spurs in a long, long time, to be honest with you. And we just didn't grab our chances, and today wasn't our day, and that's just normal. That's just football. You just move on from it.
It is just football, and as you say, hello to @ManUnited writer who's turned around and tweeted us saying multiple clear-cut chances just went untaken today. 2 points definitely undropped. DAY15, you alright, mate? Thank you for watching once again. He says, you know you're unlucky when Falcao and RVP miss sitters, but end in the end. Deserved an important point. Well, it is a deserved point, but we could have had that win, couldn't we? Liam, coming over to you. I mean, it's kind of weird because we're looking at, what, £60 million worth of striking talent. And a few sitters were missed today, weren't they? I mean, a couple from Falcao. We can make excuses for Falcao because of his recent injuries. But for me, I mean, it's more disappointing to see RVP miss a few really clear-cut chances today. I mean, they were there for the taking, weren't they, Spurs?
Yeah, I think they really were. Manchester United, they had a lot of chances. I think Mata played really well today. I just think on another day, maybe Man U would have had all three. I think I kind of see both teams are really on form at the moment. I know Spurs' team is quite poor, but they've both had a few good wins on the row, on the run. And you just have to look for the new year. I think Van Gaal will be really impressed with the first half of the season. And I'm sure top four will definitely be there. But yeah, 3 points should have been in the bag for Man U today.
Yeah, they really should. And Shaun, I mean, Liam's mentioned it there, and I reckon it's time for us. So when De Gea's played well this season, we've had a De Gea loving. I reckon today we should have a bit of a Juan Mata loving. And it's unfortunate we haven't got the English Juan on the panel tonight, being Tom. But how brilliant was he today? I mean, he combined everything, didn't he? And he found them passes even I couldn't see.
Yeah, the first half he was outstanding. Second half, or certainly the second half of the second half, if that makes sense, he was played out of the game. Also, I'll just go back to Friday against Newcastle as well. I thought he had a really good game. There were periods of the game on Friday as well that he sort of just disappeared. But he was always in the thick of it with the important passes, the ones that were needed, and he was in it again today. And what on earth did he do when he had that? The goal was right in front of him, and he put it up on top of the stand or something. It was what did he do? And the quote of the day from Michael Owen: Juan Mata, yeah, he's had a good game, man of the match performance. My man of the match is Hugo Lloris. Nice one, Michael. Yeah, man, you are.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? Because we're coming out. I don't know. I felt like that was a bit of a defeat today, to be honest. The first half we should have wrapped that up. I mean, and then second half we still had the chances. We still had 2 or 3 sitters that we should have scored. We're looking at Juan Mata 36 million, Falcao 60 odd million. However, I am still making the excuse that Falcao's just back from injury. He needs time to settle still. It's his second start, for Christ's sake. I mean, we can't turn around and say send him back to Monaco because he missed 2 chances today. Just doesn't happen, does it? And I mean, Pasha, coming over to you, what does happen is some decent defending. Today, didn't look too troubled in defence. However, Johnny Evans can't pass. McNair looked a bit shaky in times, and Phil Jones was his usual rash self. I mean, when can we start complimenting the defence and not worry?
All right. If you look at the age between Evans, Smalling, and Jones, a lot of people tend to forget that Jones is only 22. Chris Smalling is 20, I believe he's 25, and Evans is 27. And at all of them, you expect Evans to be the most leadership, trying to commit. And we saw today how nervy he looked with the awful, dreadful passes he had. His passing completion was probably around like 64-something%. And that even influenced Paddy McNair because he was looking shaky. Because if it's a 3-man back defense, if one of them is shaky, the other 2 have to be shaky. And this just shows how crucial it is to have a leadership in the back, someone that is consistent with the performance of being a top-notch defender. And Evans, unfortunately, hasn't shown it. And it's kind of funny to me because Chris Smalling was poor. Then he comes back and he's done as well. But Evans was doing well until this point. And the thing with Evans that frustrates me is that he came from the academy, but I just feel like he's showing the exit door for himself to leave United. It's not something that Louis van Gaal is like, no, you go ahead, but he's showing himself the exit door, and I think that's going to come to a point, even for Fletcher, I could say, but it just shows that we need to spend on the defense. I mean, we don't really have anybody in the back, and our best defender, honestly, isn't Marcus Rowe, it's not Phil Jones, it's not Evans, it's not Chris Smalling, it's not Rafael, it's not Luke Shaw, it's De Gea. So that just shows you the biggest problem with United is having currently. Simple.
Yeah. No, it is true. We do need some experience. We do need some people to stand up and count. I've got to quickly have a look at the comments on YouTube. Hello to Rose, who says Falcao out, no way. Hello to Gappy Millionaire, who says Falcao worked so hard today. He was even doing defensive work. To be honest, I did tweet saying free kick in, Rooney header, Falcao clearance. He was just everywhere. This is what I love about Falcao. He just gets up and down and around the pitch. I think he's brilliant. Hello to Connor Baz, who says he has been so bad this season. could be the worst. Who's put it could be the worst signing of the summer? I don't know. Someone's just said that. Anyway, I've got to say on Falcao, for me personally, we still haven't seen him. I still don't feel like we have seen him. There's a case there that he has been injured since the start of the season, really. He's not been 100% fit. Now he's played 2 games. He started two games. He scored a brilliant goal in the last game. He ran around like a headless chicken today. Unfortunately, it just didn't fall for him. He missed a couple of chances, but all strikers miss a couple of chances. I will turn around and be honest with you. If, say, over the next 5 games, Falcao hasn't scored at least 5 goals, then I will completely be another fan who would be like, look, this isn't right. We're paying this amount. He should be scoring. But the fact is he is going to score. We need to calm down. That's my message to you. It's like the Queen's speech, isn't it? We need to calm down and just let him do his job. We'll see some goals shortly. Liam, I'm going to hit on a point that Shaun kind of spoke about a bit earlier on, and that was about the changes. We made 3 changes. We brought 3 defenders on. Smalling came on, Raphael came on, and Shaw came back from injury as well. I mean, Van Gaal says this was because of fitness. Personally, I didn't think that any of McNair, Evans, or Valencia had a good game. So do you reckon there's a little bit behind it as well?
Yeah, I don't think all 3 of them made, the changes I don't think were needed. I think he should have just stayed attacking, White Hart Lane. They're not that strong at the back. I think Lloris is really their main man to save them at the end of the day. Phil Jones' header was disallowed. I think Spurs were getting a bit nervy at the end. I think if you just kept putting on the pressure, I think definitely Man U could have got all 3 points. And I think that's quite frustrating from Manchester United fans' point of view. Yeah, I don't really agree with the changes from Van Gaal. Talking about Falcao, about goals as well. I think last season, if you said to a Man U fan, Falcao, Di Maria, I think you'd be saying no way. But I think Falcao, he still has a lot to prove. I think in the last video we done about just before the Villa game, he got his goal, and that's why I like to see him play more, and he has. So. Yeah, I don't think the changes were good from Van Gaal, but going a bit defensive, but that's how it was.
I mean, Shaun, it's like not at the start of the season. It was a few months ago now. We was on here and we was talking about Robin van Persie, and we are saying how he hasn't scored in so many games. He keeps missing chances, and of course he went on that run of scoring. And now we're seeing him back at his best. It is about getting fit, isn't it? It's about being 100%, and it's about getting some consistency in his performances.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just about being fit; it's match fit. He got 90 minutes behind him today. We play Stoke on Thursday and then Yeovil on Saturday. So it's another of these 48-hour jobs. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him do another. Maybe Falcao won't play on Thursday, but will play on Saturday against Yeovil. And play the 90 minutes, give James Wilson the run out against Stoke. It's getting minutes on the pitch. It's getting that consistency. He has played a few games now, but he's sort of 10, 15 minutes here and there is nothing. I think he got 60 minutes on Friday. I wasn't exactly assured at the exact time of being there. So yes, that built him up a bit, and then obviously the 90 minutes today. But you could see that the front guys were lagging a bit. So that second half, Spurs did put the pressure on us, closing us down quickly, etc., etc. We couldn't get out. We had chances, but we just couldn't get the pace for a counter attack or anything like that, because he replaced the guys at the back that weren't actually doing a lot of running. I just couldn't understand the substitutions at all.
For me, sorry Shaun, I'm just going to butt in. For me, the best way to describe between our first half and second half performance is that in the first half, they were standing back as a unit and letting us go towards them. In the second half, they were more or less man-marking every single player we had on that pitch, hence why we didn't see Mata, Carrick, Rooney, even Young. Young was so quiet in the second half, putting in mind in the first half, for me, he was alongside Mata, the best player on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Young has been a revelation these last few games. I think we had a discussion last week. Would he knock Shaw straight back out of the team? I don't. I think that would be really harsh on him if that did happen. Valencia today in the first half, I thought was absolutely dog shite. Sorry, I just thought he was rubbish. And I wasn't surprised to see Rafael coming on. But then Valencia's had a couple of good games, and then he's just sort of gone off the boil again. Just as Rafael's getting back to full fitness again. That's another player. We desperately. I would much prefer to see Rafael on the pitch to Valencia. We need Rafael to get his minutes up now. So again, I wouldn't be surprised to see him start on Thursday, maybe play 60 minutes. Valencia to come on for him, and then Rafael to get the whole game in at Yeovil.
Yeah, just for fitness.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to build it up. Would he had 10, 15 minutes Friday, 45 today. Get him in for 60, 70 minutes on Thursday. Get him in for 90 minutes next Saturday against Yeovil. I'm not being disrespectful to Yeovil or anything, but there's going to be a lot of people saying we need to play, sort of give some players a rest and play a slightly weaker team. I think we need to go for the FA Cup this season, and I would like to see a full squad out. But then you look at the options we've got. There aren't many options to put out a weaker team.
I think Louis van Gaal will play a full-strength squad. I reckon he will go for the FA Cup. I reckon it's going to be a big team. We'll come to you, Pasha. I mean, we mentioned a few players earlier on about man and matches and stuff. But, you know, personally, what positives can we take from today? I mean, it's a brilliant first half, but after the second half, can we look at that game and say we played well?
I mean, if you look at the first half context, and if you look at throughout the season when we played away, we could definitely say we've been really poor, especially for United standard. If you look at the formation we're playing 3-5-2 with the amount of injuries, it's starting to click. And when you see the attacking philosophy under Louis van Gaal, that's what he exactly wants to see. Because the man is oriented in a way that he doesn't care. He obviously cares about the result, but he just cares more about the performance as opposed to some managers just actually think about results. And if you look at a performance today of how much Juan Mata played well, how much he dictated the game, the tempo of the game, the creativity of the game, and how he was destined to be offloaded, there's numerous amounts of reports that he was going to be, you know, there's going to be not a place for him and stuff. And just imagine Louis van Gaal putting Rooney in center mid now, and look how much the game has changed. How many players now can have a chance actually playing the game. And that just shows that once we get our full healthy squad back, Rojo, Shaw, you know, Di Maria, and we revert back to 4-4-2 diamond, that's when we actually going to see the Louis van Gaal attacking philosophy that he's actually been talking about. But the best thing, there's always a positive, and I think that our players are getting most used to this 3-5-2 because we could really say it's like an injury kind of bad plan B kind of sort of deal. And as time goes by, we might even see we're going to go back to a 4-3-3 if we buy a brilliant right winger and stuff. But he's exposing the team and the players to his philosophy and the different various kinds of formations, and that's what you want to see instead of just a traditional 4-4-2. And as time goes by, the philosophy is clicking. We used to be dreadful with a 3-5-2. You know, the defenders couldn't even pass. But now you're saying it's much. The game is being tempo. And we beat Arsenal with a 3-5-2. We beat Liverpool with 3-5-2. We almost beat Spurs with a 3-5-2. You know,
Southampton.
Yeah, even Southampton, exactly. When everybody was like, oh wow, if you're gonna play 3-man back line, you know, it's impossible in the EPL. And look at this season. Instead of Hull City, look at how many coaches have actually gone back to their 3-5-2 when they're playing with us or a different opposition. It's remarkable, you know, under because of one man. And he did it against Holland with a 5-3-2. So the man knows his tactics. But once again, you know, not until we get our defensive sorted out, we won't see the best out of United. That's just my personal opinion. But results are coming. Yeah.
It'd be very interesting once everyone's fit to see what he actually decides to do. But Louis van Gaal knows exactly what he's doing. We all know that. And his arrogance, by the way, we'll come to the transfer market in just a moment. But I don't know if you saw the after-match interview with BET. He turned around and said, I forgot his name, but he turned around and said to Louis van Gaal, can you tell us what you're going to be doing in the transfer window?
Yeah.
No.
I'm not
Simple. I don't discuss that with you. Liam, we'll come over to you. I mean, we've mentioned Juan Mata, we've mentioned Ashley Young, but for you, if we're looking at a man of the match from the United side, who are we looking at? Who actually played well?
I was still going for Juan Mata, I think. Just pretty much on the amount of chance he was creating. You know, the ball to Van Persie, Falcao. You know, he was just the kind of player who just made options all game, and just sadly, like, it just wasn't Manu's day today. And like I said, you know, 3 points in another day. But yeah, I think my man of the match would be definitely Meta.
Yeah, and I reckon Twitter actually do agree with you. Looking at the Twitter now, I did put a post up earlier on at the United View. Remember, you can tweet us throughout the show. That's why I'm scrolling here dramatically. We put up our 2 options for man of the matches. We went for Mata or Young, and 41 of you said Wham Mata, with 16 going for Young. DIY says Mata because he created openings and made chances. Young didn't do that today, but still thought Young was as excellent in it as he has been. Hello to Adi Atherton, who said Mata probably, but I don't think anybody was that outstanding. Hello to Alan Grace, who says Mata was man of the match. However, I wish his chance had fallen to Rooney, who would have most likely have stuck it in. Yeah, imagine if he's in the same position as he was at Newcastle. That'd have been a dream come true. We'll come over to you, Shaun, quickly. Obviously, as we said, first half dominance. We didn't take our chances. We've spoken a bit about Falcao, but we haven't really hit on Robin Van Persie. He should have buried a few chances today, shouldn't he? Would it affect his confidence at all, or should we just not worry and move on?
Yeah, he should have buried more than one.
That one where it came over the top, beautiful ball from Carrick. And his first touch was brilliant. But then he took another touch. Toe poke it, smash it.
I think everybody thought it was in, and then he touched it again. And said, "What the hell are you doing?" But he should have had more than one. He had 2 or 3 good opportunities. Will it affect his confidence? No, I don't think it will. I just think it's. I think today was one of those days where the ball just was not going to go in the back of the net, and when it did, we were offside. I just think it was. It was one of those days where it was going to finish 0-0, or we were going to lose a goal right at the end and lose 1-0.
I'd have them with 0-0.
I was happy with 0-0 once we sort of got to 80 minutes. I mean, we were absolutely exhausted. 43 hours between kickoff times. That's absolutely stupid. And you can only put that down to BT Sport because they had the game for television and put it forward. Now I know that the other teams played, but they all had 3 o'clock kickoffs, and you've got a game tomorrow as well, so they've got an extra day's rest. So Swansea and Liverpool, I think it is. There should never have been a 12 o'clock kickoff today. I don't know what it is. We always seem to go down to Spurs and play them at 12 o'clock. I don't know what that is. I looked at it a little while ago when the fixture came out that it had been moved, and it was last season or the season before. We played them at 12 o'clock. The 12 o'clock fixtures are fairly rare anyway. But
yeah, I mean, plus you've got to put 6 hours travel time, depending where they're travelling, how they're travelling, then getting into the hotel and stuff. That's half a day preparation lost. That's half a day travelling, which is knackering on its own. Liam, we'll come over to you quickly, actually, seeing as you're neutral. How ridiculous are these fixtures today, especially straight after the Boxing Day clashes? 43 hours.
Yeah, I think that the Premier League, FA, whatever, they need to start taking a bit of control on how close some games are, and there should be a few law and regulations on TV deals. All right, fair enough, BT Sport, they probably did pay for that certain slot and game, but the players are going to be knackered, and yes, they are professionals, yes, they are probably really fit, but you got to think about it. It's just not acceptable, and hopefully in a few months' time maybe it might be changed, but.
Funnily enough, Louis van Gaal pointed this out. It's actually illegal in the UEFA rules to have anything under than, I think it's 3 days between a fixture. But in the FA rules, it's fine, like most of the refereeing decisions. What a farce.
Can I just say, Ben, that I think Tottenham were away at Leicester, weren't they, on Friday? So they would have actually travelled back Friday evening. I know obviously we had nowhere to travel back to because we were home. So that would have meant that yesterday Tottenham would have had a full day of training, would have spent the night at their team hotel, and then travelled to the ground today. We went in, I believe that we went in into training yesterday morning for a 2 hour of light fitness, warm down from the game or whatever it is they do. And then they had just this 2 hour training session straight on the coach train, however they got down to London. And that was it. That was their day of training.
I've got to also say, to add to that, I know for a fact that United also had a light training session and tactical warm-up, as it's put, straight after the Newcastle game. Literally straight after the Newcastle game. They had 2 hours rest and they had to get back on the pitch to do a training session to get them ready for the Spurs game, which is just ridiculous. Demanding-wise, playing a football match, yeah, they get paid all this money. You can say this and that, but physically, it's the hardest league in the world. It's difficult. Anyway, let's move on. Let's stop ranting and let's talk about our final point to do with the Spurs and United game. Now, guys, I want 2 words from you to sum up the second half. That's simple. 2 words from you to sum up the second half. Pasha, we'll start with you in just a moment. First of all, DAY15 says fixture list. Bam Bam 9697 says frustrating, agonising. Hello to Paul M, who says David Moyes. Hello to Foyes, who says utterly frustrating. Matt Scott says not again. Shaun Collins says schoolboys. Harry says very frustrating. Hello to Davey, who says that. Oh no, wait a second, it's gone. That, I don't know if you can read it. It's just there. There you go. Hello to also Harry Smith, who says fatigue effects, and many more of you. Thank you for sending us messages. Geordie Reed says non-event. Pasha, 2 words to sum up the second half. What would you say?
Sunday League.
Sunday League. Shaun?
I got slightly more than 2. Has the referee coughed up the whistle yet?
What about you, Liam?
Very frustrating. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah, it really is. Moho Hammer says utter shh. Brett Rowley says Jackal and Hyde. Hello to Young Sino, says Evans out. There we go. We'll leave on them, shall we? Let's move on. What we're going to do is we're going to do a United preview for all the FA Cup games. So we're not going to discuss properly the FA Cup game today. However, we will do a preview show ahead of the Yeovil game. We'll talk about them and we'll talk about what we've got to do on our side and injuries in that show. But it does look like news tonight, fingers crossed, Ander Herrera and Adnan Januzaj have a chance to come back for the FA Cup tie. That's news which is leaking out tonight. Let's move on then. Let's talk a little bit about the transfer window. Christmas has gone, Pasha, so now we're looking forward to some, well, winter signings, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're linked with everyone basically, but honestly, who knows who we're gonna get? But if we were to get someone release clause, it's really hard to say because right now Dortmund is in the Champions League, Hummels and Godin right now. Atletico Madrid, I don't even think we could touch him, to be honest with you, because Diego Simeone absolutely loves the guy. It's hard, honestly, and my personal favorite, realistic-wise, would have been Cuadrado. I'll be honest with you. I've watched him ever since he played for Colombia and for Fiorentina, and as a right wing back or right back, because we're lacking those positions, honestly, when Rafael gets out. Even though Valencia has been decent, but he doesn't use his left foot, he just uses his right, and we know how Valencia is. He's the only player that comes to my mind, honestly, and or Nathaniel Klein, to be honest with you. But for center back, it's so hard to say who's available in the January market window. I just think it's going to come down to the summer. How well we're going to spend in summer.
Today, looking at the side, we are calling out for another right-sided player, I reckon. I mean, it depends how he's going in the future. Shaun, I mean, he could go for Klein if he wants to play an out-and-out right-back. But if he wants a right wing-back or a right winger, I mean, Cuadrado, the best way to describe him is the pace of Valencia, but with a cross. And that's what you need, isn't it?
Well, after the few crosses that Valencia showed us today, the lollipop man can cross better than he can. There were some shocking crosses today. Yeah, there's not really an awful lot you can say about his crosses.
Hey, at least actually Young got he crossed 4 times with his left foot, so that's a Guinness World Record right there, Shaun.
Yes, but Young's crossing. I mean, last season, at the beginning of this season, everybody wanted Young out, and I'm not saying that we definitely need him to stay. But he's not the first person on my out list now, whereas he possibly was at the beginning of the season.
No, it's Johnny Evans now. Hello to Paul M, who says Ashley Young, as hard as it is to say, he's doing the business right now. He really is, isn't he? He's making me proud, Ashley Young. Come on, boy, keep going. Looking at your transfer talk, Deathstroke said Varney, Hummels, Royce and Strootman in. Yeah. that's what I love, by the way, about doing these live shows around transfer window time. You get every name possible in a tweet sent to you, and it's like, this isn't going to happen. And then we get Di Maria and Falcao, and you believe it can actually happen. He also says Januzaj, Fletcher, Anderson, and Evans should go out on loan. Looking at the team, Liam, surely the first place we should be looking is for a centre-back.
Yeah, I definitely think, defensively that is where it needs to be strengthened. Talk about other transfer rumours. I read an article on the Telegraph about Gareth Bale. Now, it looks a very slim chance that could happen, but I read that apparently a rumour that David De Gea, Real Madrid would want David De Gea if there was any consideration of a possible bid for Bale. And also talk about Januzaj going to PSG, maybe on loan. Apparently Everton may want him on loan as well. So, I think those kind of players, I think like Januzaj, I don't think first team just yet, but if you get him on loan, I think he'd do really well for the future menu.
I'd like to see him at Everton, Pasha. What do you reckon about that Januzaj season-long loan to Everton?
To be honest with you, look at the amount of injuries we're having, and what if like Mata or something happens to him? I would honestly like him to get playing time, believe it or not. But I believe that if we're gonna take FA Cup seriously, and if he shows himself against Juve, if he starts, I would think that he might actually start if he does well enough and show Louis van Gaal that he deserves the place. He'll start the kid. I think if we loan him out, that might hurt. That might be because young players these days, they always expect first team football, and even though he says that, I want to be at United all my life, we heard that from many young players, Ravel Morrison, Paul Pogba, all of them. And I feel like it's gonna come to a point that he might leave. So I would rather see how he does in the FA Cup because we're gonna take that seriously. So if we do a squad rotation, for example, if he does well, he might place himself a booking in the first team, starting 11. But I wouldn't really honestly want him to leave out on loan because of the amount of injuries we're having.
That is true. You can't take that risk, can you really? Especially not at this time of the season.
No, exactly.
I've got to say it's also a threat from the bench, of course. We have seen some rumours, Shaun, since the summer. The massive one has been Strootman. I mean, his name keeps coming up. Louis van Gaal connected. Another rumour out there yesterday that apparently a £32 million deal has been agreed for Strootman to come in January, as Roma no longer have Champions League football, do they? What do you make if we do sign Strootman? I mean, Carrick's all right in there, isn't he? We've got Herrera, got Mata, got Rooney to be in there and around. We've got Blind. I mean, I haven't seen much of Strootman, but I mean, in terms of players, he's a world-class player. So would you pay the money for him in January, or would you wait till summer?
I think that if we're going to have him, we will get him in January because Roma don't have the Champions League football. That would give Roma time, or assuming that they get it again for next season, that would give Roma time to replace him. Rumours today or yesterday that Carrick has been offered and has signed a new one-year deal. Where does Daley Blind fit into it? Where does Carrick fit into it? Where would Strootman fit into it? Like you say, we've got Rooney that can drop back there. Herrera, Fellaini, that's him. There's play. I don't know. I've just seen something on Twitter on a Dutch football account. Apparently, do forgive me if I pronounce his name wrong, but we're watching a guy, Daley Sinkgraven. And he's a 19-year-old midfielder at Heavenveen. And apparently we're after him in January.
We're after everybody. Do you remember our deadline day? I'll get it out somehow. Special, Shaun, at the end of the summer transfer window.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing one at the end of January as well.
Yeah, we're going to, and we're going to get our pink ties this time. But do you remember, we had so many accounts sending our Twitter rumours. So we went mental, and we had 6 accounts sending us João Moutinho rumours, and it just didn't happen.
There are so many out there, and it is just to sell the newspapers, unfortunately. Or you get these Man United agent pop up. And it's, so-and-so is going to do this. There was one popped up just now that Michael Carrick has signed this one-year contract. But it was in a newspaper yesterday, yet he's claiming it is breaking news. and you get all these people that believe it and retweet it, and then they just make up these complete and utter crap, and then claim that they get all these things right. Yet they delete all the tweets that they got wrong.
It's mostly lazy journalism, isn't it? I mean, who are these shadow writers who write for them? I've got to say, I've put out on Twitter about January and summer transfers and about Strootman. UND Selenio says, let's get Strootman in January. Hello to Hannah, who says summer. DIY says January if we want him. And he also says he's optimistic of getting Hummels in summer on a free. Pasha, surely if we're looking at a defender, Miranda looks sort of impossible. Hummels, with the way Dortmund are playing, with the way their season is going, he's the guy we should go out and get, isn't it, in January? I mean, but saying that though, he's not playing well either at the moment, like our backline.
Yeah, you know, it's hard. If you're speaking January terms, I think it'll be hard for them because they're in the Champions League, and they need them because they might actually get relegated, which I doubt it, but they're in a really, really deep hole right now, and for a long-term future, during when summer transfer window comes, I see Hummels as an option. But the thing with Hummels is that if you actually watch him these days, and not look at the past video, no, go on YouTube and watch his videos, he has not been himself. Ever since the World Cup, you know, he's been slow. He hasn't been himself. A player that I've always said it, and I always say that it's very underrated, and he will do a phenomenal job for United. It's gonna be Substitutions from Dortmund, or there's another young lad that I know, Laporte from Atletico Bilbao, I believe. He's another good player that I've seen. But I just, you know, I love Hummels because he has a leadership and stuff. But people need to realize that he hasn't been himself, even though he's a big name himself. But I've watched Dortmund a couple of times, and he has been dreadful, honestly. But if we were ever to buy someone, I'll say it was Substitutions, Laporte, or Godin, to be honest with you. I mean, I would be ecstatic if we get Hummels, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like if we're going to spend big, I'd rather spend big money on a top class center back that is doing a phenomenal job these days. Hummels is right now big with his name, but honestly, as a football terms in football world, even if you watch the Bundesliga, he hasn't been himself. I feel like Substitutions has been a much better leader and a much better player in recent times.
And of course, the name Nemanja Vidic keeps coming up, Liam. Surely we shouldn't go back to Nemanja Vidic now. He's also having hell in Italy at the moment.
Well, Vidic, you know, I think he was such a legend at the club. He was such a leader, and I think that's what many have lost since he's gone. And you know, I think, you know, I wouldn't say no to Vidic. You know, I think he's still got. I know that, you know, Inter Milan aren't doing so good in Serie A, but you know, I think even if it's temporary or, you know, just someone in the background maybe. I definitely think he's got the experience to help Manchester United out if Van Gaal's not prepared to spend big in January. You know, because I think Vidic would happily come back to Manchester United. But it's just a wait-and-see game, I think.
It is a little bit weird. And by the way, can I just quickly comment on non-United related stuff? Something a little bit mad has just gone on from what I'm looking at. Adam Pardew is set to part company with Newcastle, and his odds-on favourites become the next Crystal Palace manager. Where's that come from? I don't know where that's come from, but that's just popped up.
Right.
Oh, I don't know what that's all about. It's going to be a crazy transfer window anyway. We're going to be here throughout it. We're going to have weekly transfer specials. We're also going to have a few special interviews with people in the know, different Indy Kaida won't be coming on the show, but we're going to have journalists on as well coming on and chatting to us. And we've also, saying that, we've got our own Indy Kaida. Shaun's going to be making his own transfer parody account and keeping us updated with everything. Isn't that right, Shaun?
I don't work at KFC, sorry Ben, I'm not qualified.
Well, we're going to keep you updated, and plus, of course, we will have our Deadline Day special, and we're going to invite all of our guests to pop on whenever they like. So Liam, Pasha, if you're free on Deadline Day, make sure you pop on and say hello. That's all we've got time for this evening. I believe we've covered all topics. I mean, coming up next, we have got, of course, a big FA Cup game, and we will be giving a preview to that. But for now, after the Spurs game, we'll be okay with that point. However, Pasha, we're even more happy that City dropped a 2-goal lead at the Etihad, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, you know, of course, they're noisy neighbors. Oh, God, I can't stand them. I mean, Liverpool's worse, but, yeah, I mean, it's frustrating speaking about because Chelsea dropped points, Man City dropped points, and we could have, if we had a win, we could have closed the gap on the title lead and put more pressure and make City and Chelsea run for their money. And it's frustrating because right now Arsenal won today too, so they're 2 points behind us. But as once again, it's an EPLs, and that's why it's so entertaining because you never know what's going to happen in the next week and the following week after that. And we have Stoke away, which is going to be even harder, I believe, at Wyatt than the Tottenham game, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, it's an EPL. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, do you know what? I've completely I've misread my notes. We have got Stoke before the FA Cup game. Let's not forget that. So, Liam, let's quickly come over to you. I mean, Stoke's a really hard place to go. We're going there, of course, on Thursday. It's a 12:45 kickoff. I mean, what can we expect from Stoke? Physically, is it going to be a massive battle, or do you reckon we could end up passing our way around?
I think Manchester United have to go there and prepare for battle, to be honest with you. I mean, the defence, they're going to have to be rock solid because they've really got some big, strong players in the Stoke team, and they will pummel you and they will take you down. I mean, just going to some points, what Walters, he done to Drogba, he got him in a headlock, put him to the ground. I think Charlie hadn't done it to Sanchez a few weeks ago when Arsenal played at Stoke. So they are a very physical team, and I think everybody's going to have to be really geared up for that game because, like we know, Stoke really like the big games, and they seem to get results against bigger teams. So without a doubt, it's going to be a really hard game. So yeah, it's going to be an entertaining one for sure.
It's going to be a test as well. Hopefully, it's not raining and freezing cold, which it probably will be. Pasha, for me, I've got to say, the one person I'm always terrified when it comes to Stoke is Peter Crouch. He always scores against me on FIFA.
The scariest player, honestly, I think from Stoke might end up being, I think, Bojan or Bojan, however you pronounce his name, or we might see Mama Diop because he used to be our player back in the day, a couple of years back until he went to Germany, but he might try to get his revenge back from the Fergie era. But once again, Stoke is a very physical, they're a very, very nasty team, and it's a Britannia Stadium, and it's always difficult to play there. But I hope we have Di Maria back on the bench at least because we need his pace. We need to really win this match because this is a big, big away game. And if we don't and Arsenal come, then we'll be falling behind, unfortunately.
Yeah, we need to make sure we get around them, don't we? We're not going to beat them physically, I don't expect, so we need to get around them. Shaun, looking at the fixture list, Stoke away, Southampton home, QPR away, Leicester at home. Surely we've got 12 points to get there, and it has to start against Stoke, doesn't it? We've just got to get that run going straight away.
We've got to be careful because at the beginning of the season, we looked at the fixture list and said, well, there's 18 points out of 18. Pasha was saying, it's the Premier League. We don't know what's going to happen. Stoke are a very physical team. We didn't play them that long ago. Southampton again. They've just come. They had a bad patch. They've won a couple of games. We didn't play them that long ago either. So we know all about them. Don't forget you missed your overlap of that run as well. I mean that shouldn't be difficult. But then again, we lost to MK Dons, and I know we used a lot of younger players in that game. But I think we may scrape 2-1 against Stoke. I think Carrick will score, and
he always does, doesn't he?
Yeah. Carrick will score because he's just signed this mega contract for an extra 12 months, and Rooney will get the other one.
Okay, fair. Well, that's your prediction. You're going for 2-1 Carrick and Rooney, are you?
Yeah.
That's Shaun's prediction. Tweet us now your predictions for the Stoke away game at the United View on Twitter or comment in the comment box. Do it quickly because otherwise we're not going to see it in time. So I want your score prediction and your goal scorers, please. Liam, we'll come to you. Stoke away.
I'm going to go 2-2. I think a draw will be an outcome for both teams. I think Man U will be up for it, so I think Stoke will be as well. So yeah, I'm going to go 2-2. Goal scorers, I say Crouch and Charlie Adam. Maybe they're both kind of good form. And for Manchester United, let's see Van Persie get on the score sheet and Falcao as well. So it's going to be an entertaining match, but I think it'll be a draw.
It'd be an interesting one, definitely. Hello to Han, who says Bojan will be a massive threat. Hello to DIY, who agrees with Bojan. Hello to @Man United Writer, who needs to get on this show soon, by the way, who says Crouch and Bojan, they are dangerous attacking players. Of course, both completely different, aren't they, as well, to each other. What do you reckon, Pasha? What are you going for? Scoreline and goal score?
Yeah, I think we'll win 2-1. Both goals coming from Anderson. No, I'm just kidding. He'll be at Nando's, but I'm gonna go with probably Wayne Rooney and hopefully Michael Carrick, because I love the guy. I'll probably say both Wayne Rooney, to be honest with you. 2-1.
2-1. I'm gonna go with 2-0. I've got faith in our defence. I'm gonna go with Falcao with both. There we go. He's going to prove a lot of people wrong at Stoke. I'm going to go for that. Well, all that's left for me to say is, come on, United, we can do this. DIY says 3-0. Falcao and Carrick with 2. Shaun, everyone's copying your Carrick prediction.
Yeah. This isn't on. I'm going to have to. I might have to join Pasha's club for love of Anderson. I think Anderson.
He does need a goal, doesn't he?
Winner in McDonald's.
In McDonald's, there we go. 98th minute. Hello to Rung Baz, who says 1-0 to United, Falcao to score. Hello to Seamus McHugh, who says 2-1 United. We need to get the away form sorted. I've got to agree. So we're all going for United wins. Hopefully we can do it. Thank you for watching. Also, thank you to our panelists as well. Liam, thank you for coming on once again, mate. What's your Twitter?
You can find me at Liam PL Edwards.
Yes, a neutral's point of view. We love it. Pasha, where can we find you?
Oh yeah, I'm at PASH021.
Thank you for coming on once again, mate. Look forward to having you on again.
Thank you for always having me on. I love United View, and thank you for always having me on, guys. It's always a pleasure. And I miss Juan Mata, I miss Tom, but hopefully I'll see him soon.
He'll be back next week. He'll be here for our FA Cup special. Yeah. And of course, our Red, who we've all got to say a massive congratulations to. Shaun this week has proposed to his girlfriend, and she didn't say no. She said yes. So congratulations, Shaun. Where can people congratulate you and find you on Twitter?
Thank you, Ben. I'm at Shaun, that's SHAUNMUFC20.
It's unfortunate because she's a Liverpool fan. So we're gonna. No, she's not really. She doesn't even know who Liverpool is.
She knows they're the Scousers and that we have to feed them at Christmas time.
Yeah, everybody knows that now. Thank you to us. We've got to thank you guys for watching. Also, a massive thank you if you've watched our 12 Greats of Christmas. If you haven't, check out our playlist. We've got the full 12 Greats of Christmas playlist available, for you to watch. 12 Greats, a programme on each, and loads of brilliant panellists, including Danny Nardiello, an ex-United player, Pete Molyneux, who you remember from the Tara Fergie banner, Mr. Moojax is also on, and we've also got, of course, Shaun and Tom on programmes too. Now we've just got to look ahead. Stoke on New Year's Day, hopefully 3 points in the bag, and the start of victories away from home. Come on, United!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Yeah.